Hey, what's happening? It's Bill Smith. Today is March 22nd, 2019. There's a major breaking story, and it's headlined, Trump to nominate former campaign advisor Stephen Moore to the Federal Reserve Board. This is on the dailybeast.co. This is a very left-leaning liberal website. Talks about hardcore sex stuff with teenagers. But I thought I'd read what they wrote because sometimes I like to just get a good mix. So it says, President Trump said he will nominate former campaign advisor and economic commentator Stephen Moore to serve on the Federal Reserve Board in a Friday tweet. It reads, "It is my pleasure to announce that Stephen Moore, a respected economist, will be nominated to serve on the Fed Board." Fantastic writing. Trump wrote, "I have known Steve for a long time and have no doubt he will be an outstanding choice." The Wall Street Journal reported Friday that Trump made the offer to Moore earlier this week, complimenting him on an opinion piece he co-authored about Fed Chairman Jerome Powell's policy, which moves have posed a threat to the economy. Nominations to the Fed's board have to be confirmed by the Senate, which the Republicans control. In an interview with the Journal on Friday, Moore stated he had not been formally offered the position, but would do it if offered. So it looks like this guy's going to get nominated and probably confirmed to be on the Federal Reserve Board. Now, one thing's very interesting to me is that a lot of people say that there's some kind of Jewish conspiracy around federal banking, like central banking. And while it's true that all the major Federal Reserves are owned by people we don't know, no one knows who owns them. There's guesses, there's a little bit of evidence out there, but the official story is it's a private ownership. It was started by the Rothschild family, and Lord Rothschild did purchase Jerusalem and did purchase Israel. You can look up the Balfour Declaration if you'd like to learn more about that. So people say there's a conspiracy around this banking stuff. Well, the interesting thing is that last July, Trump really cleaned house at the Federal Reserve. It wasn't a story that was picked up a lot of places. I've covered it here on this channel. You can go back and look for it. But he basically removed most people who were Jewish from these boards. So what was left was, essentially European Gentiles running at least the U.S. Fed. So this was interesting. Then he did get into it with Jerome Powell. So I don't want to go into it, but he hasn't been getting along with Jerome Powell, and they haven't hit their GDP, so he's blamed it on him. And now his former economic advisor is going to be stepping in to take one of those chairs on the board. So who is this guy? Well, this is Stephen Moore, and they call him a writer on the Wikipedia here. He was born February 16th, 1960. He's an American writer and economic policy analyst. He founded and served as president for the Club of Growth from 99 to 2004. Wrote for the Wall Street Journal, the Heritage Foundation. He's been given a distinguished visiting fellowship. He's been known for advocating pro-business policies and supply-side economics. In 2017, he left Fox News Channel to join CNN as an economics analyst. So he's both sides of the aisle. He's worked for Fox, he's worked for CNN. I think everybody should be happy with that. Now, I read a little bit about this. He is a Christian. So here's a little bit on the Wayback Machine from that. Here. So Stephen Moore writing about his family Christmas. I think that's nice, The editing history really stood out to me, though, on Wikipedia. So I'm going to swing back to that because there's a hit in here. There's a hit piece, and I want to cover it in depth. I don't want to read all this stuff because I don't really care about his career. I mean, he's good or he's bad. I don't know. But he doesn't have an extensive entry. He's not like Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer, that Harvard law professor, that has like an extensive entry on Wikipedia. who may or may not have flown on that pedophile airplane called the Lolita Express. So this is Stephen Moore. Now, when I was reading it, something stood out to me. All this stuff looked good until I got here. And here was some bad stuff. So it says, Moore wrote a 2014 Kansas City Star opinion piece entitled, "What's the Matter with Paul Krugman?" I don't like Paul Krugman. You shouldn't either. Responding to Krugman's earlier opinion piece, Charlatans, Cranks in Kansas, which had discussed a major tax cut in Kansas. So Paul Krugman does not like low taxes. Paul Krugman likes high taxes. Paul Krugman is a lawyer. I've heard Paul Krugman's name in liberal comedies before. That's how big Paul Krugman is. So Moore doesn't like this guy, and Moore claimed that job creation had been superior in low taxation states during the 5 years ending in June 2009 following the recession. After errors were found in Moore's data, he sought to correct the errors with different data, and that was also incorrect. Miriam Pepper, editorial page editor for The Star, stated, "I won't be running anything else from Stephen Moore." Now, here's what's important about this. They're basically saying that he's incompetent. That's what they're trying to say on Wikipedia. Now, right now, the UTC time, this is the way most computer systems work, the UTC. It's a time zone, basically. It's time zero. At time zero, it's Friday, March 22nd, 1915:43. So what is that? 5 o'clock? It's 5:15 UTC. That's not true. It's 7 o'clock. Also, UTC doesn't have a time zone, by the way. Or it doesn't follow daylight savings time. All right. We're back on Stephen Moore's Wikipedia page. We're going to go over here and click View History. And down here, we're going to find this guy, Soy Bangla. Soy Bangla added this entry. Moore claimed that job creation had been superior in low taxation states during the 5 years ending June 2009 following the recession. So he brings up both of them. Here's the first line about him writing the 2014 Kansas Star opinion piece, "What's the Matter with Paul Krugman?" These were posted at almost the exact same time, 17/32/22, March 2019. So 5:32 p.m. UTC time. Right now it is 7:15. So an hour and 45 minutes ago, all right? And this is 3 hours ago. So this just happened, and this came out on a tweet. So let's go look at the time on the tweet and see what the difference in time was. The link from the Daily Beast article was not correct. Imagine that. It's almost like they don't want you to go here and look. And here it is. So this is just this morning then. So Donald Trump tweeted this. Daily Beast picked it up, wrote an article about it 3 hours ago. Then an hour and a half later, Soy Bangla came over here and decided to go ahead and hit piece update Stephen Moore's revision history on Wikipedia. So now anybody that comes over here to read about who Stephen Moore is going to run into that. Wham! And they put it right here, right kind of in the middle of his career. And it could be chronological. It is. That's exactly what it is, but I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that. All right. So is this true? We're going to go check these two links. And we're going to check this link. And just so you can see what I'm doing here, I'm clicking on the citations. I'm hovering the citation, and then I'm going up here to click on that link right there. So this is where it starts. And this is the one that here's the "I won't be running anything else from Stephen Moore" quote right there. So what happens is it's not a mistake and it's not incompetence. It was just selectively choosing something different. And it kind of depended on how you wanted to look at it. The nice thing was they found somebody with a foreign name, Yael Obal Halka, Do you understand how absurd this is that I have to pronounce this guy's name whenever he's working at an English-speaking American newspaper? Pick an American name, man. And don't give me the whole, oh, it's cultures of the world, make America. No. Up until like 5-10 years ago, I never had to pronounce anybody else's name like this. It's unfair. It's unfair that I have to try to pronounce this guy's name. Can you imagine what this is going to do to our culture? You combine that with everybody now having 2 and 3 last names. I mean, where does it end? You know? This is the reason why we had rules. Like, you pick. This is why German names sound German and Swedish names sound Swedish. There's nothing racist about that. We had a good thing going here. I don't know why everybody wants to give it over. Okay, whatever. I don't care. Moving on. Sorry for the rant. They selectively chose something, and then he issued a correction. And they go, oh, no, technically that's off as well. I mean, his premise of what he was saying was true. I mean, from what I've read and even what they admitted in here, the premise of what he was saying was true. And they nitpicked him, and they got in the comb, they got the comb out, combed through the grass, and was like, no, these data are different based on which data set you chose it from. Was it this company or this organization? Oh, it only matches up with these years. It's 2007 instead of 2009. Whatever, man. I mean, I guess as an economist, that's pretty important. Here's the other link, but it's not that. It didn't seem like that big of a deal. And I think it's odd that somebody came over here, an hour after a Daily Beast article and issued some revisions to include this. No one cared about this guy yesterday, but now Stephen Moore is going to be important, and they're going to do what they can to make sure this guy doesn't get confirmed. So that's coming. All right, I'm sorry if I got a little long-winded there. There's more stuff going on. So I'll finish it off with a couple little things I want to kind of toss in here. One thing is that it looks like we're going to withdraw the North Korean sanctions. We're getting along with Kim. Supreme Ruler Kim seems to be pro-American lately. So I like that. That's good for us. It's good for him too, Here's some more stuff. We're getting all Book of Revelations and stuff here now with Israel. Here's Mike Pompeo. It's possible Trump was sent by God to save the Jewish people from Iran. If you remember, Iran was the last on that list for the Greater Israel Project. The 7 countries in 5 years. Iran was last on that list. But at the exact same time, all right, after the New Zealand shooting, Trump downplayed the white nationalist threat. Experts say it's growing, but he says, I don't think so. I think it's a small group of people that have very, very serious problems. I agree. People running around shooting people in mosques, killing 50 people at a time, and then disappearing. Parts of their team disappearing back to Israel, and then we find out that he went to Israel, and there's just a lot of weird stuff with that whole story. Is it real? Is it fake? I don't know. What about the shoes? And this is why it's extra weird. Here's the Atlantic talking about Trump's white nationalist pipeline. So everybody says that Trump is a white nationalist, but he's giving the Jews everything they want. So I don't understand how to reckon those two things together yet. The interesting thing about this is the white nationalist leader, Jason Kessler. The same guy that CNN likes to blame the Unite the Right rally on, which is probably true, and call him, the leader of a white nationalist. CNN's calling Jason Kessler this. The problem with that is that Jason Kessler used to work at CNN. I don't understand how I don't know this. Other people don't know this. He wrote extensively, extensively at CNN. If you type in this search, site:/CNN.com, and then put Jason Kessler in quotes after that, you'll get hundreds of articles by this guy. Hundreds. I mean, he wrote like pages and pages and pages. He was a member of the Occupy movement. He was a CNN blogger for years. For years. It goes on and on and on. Never stops. Just lots and lots and lots of Jason Kessler at CNN. Remember, though, he's a white nationalist. He's a white nationalist. Till next time, this is Bill Smith. Thanks for watching.